All right. We are live. I did that in the last session that I did, and yeah, it was pretty. Yeah, I had someone say in the chat box, "We are live." We sure are. Alrighty, guys, welcome to today's market update. We're your host, Johnny Howell. Hope you guys are doing well today. And I really do mean that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't just say that generic. Like, I really mean, like, I hope you're doing well, and and I hope that you're taking care of yourself. If you've got any personal situations, maybe some things you need to take care of your life, make sure you're trying to work at those every single day with your health and all those things as well too. And so before I do get started in today's session today, guys, I definitely want to get into today's session. Wasn't this just a beautiful setup? What you're looking at right now, just a beautiful, beautiful setup. Tell you what, guys, when you get those A quality trades, this is a beautiful, beautiful setup that happened just recently. When you get those A quality trades, I tell you what, most of them work out really, really well. You just got to get those really, really nice setups. Anyway, the hard part is waiting for the really good quality setups. But what a beautiful trade that was. Or beautiful setup that was. It was a trade setup. So without further ado, I want to talk about Bitcoin as well too, and the crypto markets as well too today, guys, in today's session. And I want to go through that because hey Chris, hey John, did you get my email I sent last night? What email did you send that to, Chris? Because I haven't actually checked my email this morning or last night, your time, whatever. So I'm not sure what email you sent that to, but we'll be getting into the crypto market today, guys. Silver and gold and all that sort of down home country goodness. And we'll definitely be having a look at Bitcoin and the crypto market because there has been quite a lot of move through there with that. So let's actually get through the Master Trader Lab one. Okay, was that help at mastertraderlab.com? That one? All right, guys, before I do get started, let me get straight into the typical disclaimer, and that is, guys, do not place a trade based on what you'll see in this session today because trading is risky and it can cause substantial financial loss. There's no guarantees of making money in the markets with what I'm about to teach you today, okay? The only way for you to do really, really, really well, not only now but for the rest of your life, is to only be taking setups that you're 100% confident in, and you take that similar setup every single time, no matter what. If you can do that, you can do really well in the markets. The hard part is waiting for those setups, okay? So you don't have to be getting in every single turn or every single move in the markets to do really well. You just got to get out of your own way, find just one really simple setup that works, that you have confidence in, and then just wait for that one simple setup. Even if you only get a couple of dozen really good trades throughout the year, that's all you really need to do really well. And before you know it, you're trading a significant amount of money, and before you know it, you're a seven-figure trader. 3-4 years down the track, and that's how it starts with the foundational stuff. Makes sense, guys? If you haven't done so yet, you get the if you haven't grabbed the free trading course yet, go to johnsflashsale.com to get the trading course. That's actually ending today, by the way, guys. So if you guys haven't got that yet, that's ending today. So go to johnsflashsale.com. Or if you'd like to get access to the actual trading course for free, so you can get access to the trading course, flash sale, or if you'd like to get access to it for free, plus all these other massive bonuses, then you can try out the Master Trader Lab at mastertraderlab.com, and you can get a free trial to that and test it out for free. And if you're not happy within your free trial, let me know, and you'll never be billed. So mastertraderlab.com is where that is. Now, guys, let me move forward with this here, okay? I want to start off, before I start off with looking at the market today and so on and so forth, and looking at the stock market and what's been happening around here, I really want to drive home a point that I made at the start of this session here. And trading can be quite simple and quick. It can be quite simple and it can be easy. But the simple part is, okay, this is what the good setup looks like. And I had a phone call with someone a few days ago, and they said, John, the problem is that when I see your education, I see the perfect setup, but that's the perfect setup. And I said, well, all you have to do is wait for that setup. I don't care if you only have one trade a month. That's it. If you do that, you're going to do well. Most traders don't do well in the market. So if you want to do well in the markets, do the complete opposite. Don't be trading a lot, trading less, but trading quality, and so on and so forth. And when I come down to when I look at my clients and I look at my success in the markets and so on and so forth, I see that, and what's made me get even more and more successful as the years go on is just having the ability to say, okay, this is what I'm looking for in my setup. This is exactly what I'm looking for. And I'm not going to do anything until I see that setup. I'm not going to try and jump in because I think the market's going to top out or it's going to bottom out here, or I'm going to try and get in here and head out there, because now you're over trading, right? You're getting in because you think it's a good idea or you hope it's a good idea. There's really no probability based on your entries or exits and so on and so forth, right? So the main thing that you really need to be working on is, is getting access to that. And then your job is just to be getting really good at identifying that A quality setup for yourself, whatever it is. Now, guys, if you are interested in getting me as your coach, getting my #1 trading strategy, and then having me there every single week to coach you, and then also to share my trades with you via the Facebook group, and you can talk to all the other private clients. I have one spot left open, and I'm closing it down for the rest of this year. So if you're interested in that one last spot, guys, click on the very first link in the description below. Go fill out the application form because it is my very last spot. My coaching program is simply get access to the education, the workbook, the teaching #1 strategy. Then every single week I do a group coaching call where I'm teaching you. And then at the end of the group coaching call, I turn your microphone on and I answer your questions like I do with other people. And then also every single day on the Facebook group, I'm sharing my trades that I'm taking and so on and so forth. And so are the other private clients. So I have one last spot for that. And then I only have a small group throughout every single year. So back to what I was saying before, guys, that's what it comes back down to. Okay. Now, 90% of your success is not going to come from that setup. 90% of your success is really going to drive home, is really going to come down from how consistent, disciplined, and patient you are. How consistent, disciplined, and patient you are. Because if you are consistent, disciplined, and patient in waiting for that one good quality setup, that's where all your success is going to lie. Because, and you guys know, right? For you guys that are listening right now, you know yourself, right? The #1 biggest problem with most people trading these markets today is I'd have to say patience, i.e. overtrading. And that is the #1 biggest problem with traders. And even myself, right, guys? Like if I haven't had a trade for a while, myself, even I'm trying to get antsy about different setups and different trades. I'm like, oh, maybe this is it. And, and even myself, right, I try to force like, no, we're just going to need to keep being patient. And that's the #1 biggest thing that most traders would the #1 thing is patience. Now you got consistency, discipline, and patience, right? Consistency, discipline, and patience. But that's what's needed in order for you to do really well in the markets. Okay, in order for you to do really, really well in the markets. And it does come back down to that. The hard part in what I've just said there is sticking to it 100% of the time. Because I can teach you a really good, successful trading setup that's going to generate a profit, either a small profit or a really nice profit. I don't know. Sometimes the trade only delivers a small profit. Hey, it was a small profit. But like 90+% of the time, almost every single time, if you get an A quality setup that I teach, you're going to generate a profit. The problem is the white space in between, because it's such a highly successful strategy, there's not a lot of trades throughout the year. Now, what I mean by that is that depending on what sort of market you're looking at and what you're looking at, because of the higher the success rate, the lower the amount of trade you're going to get. Now, that being said, if you're now trading the futures market and the Forex market and looking at the 2-minute charts, the 5-minute charts, the 30-minute charts, the hourly charts, you're looking at all these different time frames for your setup, now you're likely to have a lot more potential setups. If you're watching like I do in the afternoon, I watch 6 different Forex pairs. I look at the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, which pretty much go in sync with each other. And I'm looking at setups for that. I'm also trading oil, gold, all these different other markets, and looking across the markets. It's like, okay, I'm just looking for my setup. I'm just looking for my setup, and then I'm looking to have some trading rules wrapped around it to follow through with that. Now, if you do that and you're spending 6, 7 hours and 6, 7 hours a night, or even 5 hours in an afternoon or a morning or wherever it is, looking at those intraday timeframes, well, now obviously you're likely to get a lot more trades. 90% of my trading is actually done in the Forex and futures market. The only reason why is because obviously I'm watching 2-minute charts and so on and so forth. But on the flip side is that if you do trade the stock market, but then you start to look at, say, the 15-minute chart and the hourly charts, and you start to look at all the stocks, now you have the potential to have a lot more trades coming through as well too. So it just depends on where you're going with that. But the number one thing to your success long-term is never about getting the stock market right. It's never about being right with the markets. And the more you try to be right with the market, the more broke you're going to be. And what I mean by right with the market is that if the market's doing one thing, like right now, trying to short the stock market, trying to short the stock market right now on a simple basis of understanding that the market, if the market's making higher lows, then we have buyers in control. That number one simple thing, if you're trying to short the stock market, you're fighting it, and it's just not a good idea. So trying to be right with the markets, and trying to pick tops, trying to pick bottoms, doing those things that you know in the back of your mind is going to be a losing strategy 9 times out of 10. 9 times out of 10, you're not going to pick the top. You're not going to pick the bottom because you don't know when that trend is going to enter. Now, you may get in, you may go short, like I've seen so many people do. They may go short, say the S&P 500, and we may have 2 or 3 down days. Oh, look, I picked the top. And then suddenly, before you know it, the trend continues and blast past previous highs. And before you know it, you're now in a losing position here. So the number one thing to understand is that you don't want to be trying to pick these tops and bottoms of the markets because, as you know, right, very rarely are you, like 9 times out of 10, you're not going to do that. That's why you see that people that are on YouTube that teach, like even if you're trading a divergent strategy, nothing against divergent strategies, but divergent strategies have the makings of having a bigger loss and small profits because divergence, i.e., is actually going against the trend. Where if I said to you guys, where is the highest probability trades? Against the trend or with the trend? Duh, John, it's with the trend, right? So if understanding that one simple basis of, okay, if the highest probability, because remember, there's no certainties in anything, really. There really isn't. Even though I have a really highly successful strategy and I know most of my A quality setups that just meet my system perfectly, I know most of those trades are going to run on for profit. And some of them are going to be small profits and some of them are going to be home runs like U-Beauty. Right? But if you understand that, then if you are not part of my coaching program, then start to devise a plan that is a trend following system. Right. And then start to have that, at least you have that on your side. And then obviously you need to, now, yes, mine's a trend following system, but I take mine to a whole complete new level by understanding not only just trend following, but following the trend, but understanding about how the markets work, understanding price and time, understanding the type of setup I'm looking for within the time, understanding the entry bar, making sure the entry bar is not too big. All these factors go into what I call an A quality setup. Now, if you understand that the highest probability trades are with the trend when you start to defer. That's why I always say if the market is making lower highs, like it was back here with the, if you look at the screen, if you obviously if you look at the screen, like it was back here on the Dow Jones, right? Like if I bring this back up here, right? They were starting to make lower highs and lower lows through here. Well, guess who's more in control through here? The sellers. So trying to, if you know that the sellers are more in control, trying to buy the market, you may be right, but the highest probability trades are with the trend. Now, obviously, that's a blatant statement, and you need to make sure you're getting in at the right time because there's two different types of phases. There's a time phase and there's a price phase. A price phase is what I call a directional phase, when the market's actually moving, right? When the market's moving, it's going in one direction. It's either going down or it's either going up. Now, generally speaking, if the trend is up, then we're going to have a price phase when the market's actually going in, it's actually trending in that direction, which is up. A time phase is what I call a resting phase, where the market has been going up for quite some time and it's used a lot of energy. Now it's time for either a pullback or a sideways phase to refuel. And we need to make sure that we have enough refuel to go for another run again. So that's just a simple basis of how the markets work. Now, sometimes you're going to get the market where the market just keep going up and up and up and up and up and up. That's called a bubble. And therefore you get big pullbacks and so on and so forth in the markets. But by understanding that, now let me ask you another question through here. And I will get to the charts in a minute, guys, but I really wanted to walk you through this. Let me ask you another question. If we already talked about the highest probability trades with the trend, okay, we understand that. Now, what's going to give you the highest probability of capturing the most amount of money, points, percent return on your investment? It's going to be with the trend, right? That's good to potentially capture the most to potentially capture the most amount of points, dollars, whatever. It's with the trend. Now, once again, one thing that most traders don't understand how the markets work is that when the market goes for a run for a while, it's due for a pullback. What most traders do, they wait for the market to go for a run, then they get in, the market pulls back or goes sideways, they get stopped out, and then the market continues. And they thought, oh, well, typical market, they got in, like it reversed as soon as I got in. Yeah, because you got in after it spent 1 or 2 weeks going up, and then the market reversed. So it's these different things that really matter to a trend following system, really is. So not only the highest probability trades are with the trend when you start to determine the trend, that's the highest probability trades. B, that the highest probability of capturing the most amount of points or percent return on money on any given single one trade is with the trend. But C, when you're trading with the trend, now you have the highest probability of having small losses and big profits. And when you can start to factor all those in, and you start to factor those in with understanding a directional phase or a resting phase, then you can start to say, okay, then are we in a directional phase right now? Okay, if we've been in the directional phase for quite some time, getting into this position, whether it's been going down for quite some time or up for quite some time, is very risky right now because it's been going in the up for quite some time. We're due for a pullback. Okay, we're due for a pullback. We're due for some sort of resting phase, which either is a nice pullback or a sideways phase. Okay, once that happens, once we go through a sideways phase, we're resting for a while. That's now known as, obviously, we're resting for a while. Okay. Okay, so how do we know we're getting ready to potentially start a new directional phase after that resting phase, right? Because in a nice trend, you go through a nice trending phase, and then you have a resting phase, and then you generally go through another trending phase, right? That's called higher highs and higher lows. So one, you got to make sure that there's enough resting phase there. But when you get enough resting phase, the highest probability is as it's breaking out of that resting phase, as it's breaking out of. Now, I don't have anything to share with you on the charts, you guys. I'm just speaking to you in general terms. Actually, you know what? Let me do this here. Let me bring up the Snagit tool here. Actually, you know what? Let me bring up this one here, so I can visually share with you what I'm showing you, so you guys can see what I'm saying here. Is that the market? All right, let's do this here. So the market is going up like this. This is called a directional phase, and then suddenly we start to go sideways for a while. This is called a resting phase. All right. So, but if we have the trend going up through here, we have a directional phase through here, and then we have a resting phase, or we may even have some. Okay. So, and then suddenly what happens is what? Then suddenly what happens? You get a nice breakout bar. This is now potentially, because it's breaking past previous highs as well. This is now potentially what? The start of the new directional phase. If it's not, your stop's down here. If it is, you're likely to capture 2 or 3 or 4 times the risk at the low of the bar, because it's starting to break up into a new phase. We went through a directional phase through here. We went through a directional phase through here. Then we went through a resting phase through here, and now we're breaking up, which is now potentially going to start that new directional phase. Now, don't take my word for that. Go back and do your back testing. Look at the chart itself and start to see what I'm saying here. And when you start to get, this is one thing I love about, and that's one thing. That's one of the setups that I really like, is having, when I have a nice move up and then we go sideways for a while. It's part of my system anyway, and then we're getting a new break up through here. One, we've got to make sure that we have enough resting phase, because if we don't, then it's likely to be a false breakout. 2, I want to make sure I'm trading with the trend. 3, I'm going to make sure that I'm trading with momentum. And 4, I've got to make sure that this bar is not too big, or it's not too small, or it's not too big. Too small, well, then there's no probability of it being a starting of a new price phase or a new directional phase. Too big simply means that the directional phase, think about this as an energy phase, where it's releasing energy, right? It's moving in a direction, so it's using a lot of energy. And then we're resting here, right, to build a lot of energy. We're building energy here, and then we're releasing energy. If we went sideways for a while, but we had a big up bar, guess what? We used a lot of energy really, really quickly. Likely to be some sort of false breakout or an end of trend, so on and so forth. So when you can start to factor what I'm talking about here, guys, the reason why I'm bringing this up first before I start looking at the charts is because I really wanted to walk you through some basis to getting ahead in the markets. But as you can see, right, everything I'm saying here is about the charts. All you have to do is start to identify yourself, and that's where you have to invest, right? You have to invest in someone that you believe in. Okay, you have to invest in someone that you believe in, or B, you spend the hours, weeks, and months going up the chart, and look for patterns that repeat, and start to devise a trading plan around it. And then that's how you get ahead. And then that's how you can start to devise a trading plan. If you don't want to invest in any money, which I think is a big mistake, then go find someone to not only can teach you a good trading system, but then can coach you every single week, or at least every single month, to help you get better at identifying that one good strategy. That's why, like with my coaching clients, like, it's just, when they stick to the strategy, they're just like, unbelievable, John. The hardest part is what? It's not 10%. This here is 10%. Where most people go wrong is the 90%. The 90% is consistent, discipline, and patient. One, they're not consistent. They might show up today. They might not show up today. Discipline. They're not disciplined because suddenly before you know it, discipline, right? Because a discipline is where, you're not disciplined enough to actually just take those. You might have a good setup, but then suddenly 80% of your trades is all this other crap. And then patient, you're not patient enough. Laco said, you are wrong about Bitcoin. You said it was going down. I didn't say I was. I didn't say I was definitely going to go down. If you actually go watch my Bitcoin videos, I said that if we start to get a big breakdown bar past certain levels, then we're likely to see another move down. I needed to see a move. I needed to see confirmation that first, but the setup was there. So it's not that I was wrong, and it's not that you were right, Laco. All right. So you can take your cookie and you can go home now. Okay. You're done now trying to cut me down through here, and you're done trying to put yourself on a pedestal. Because if you go watch those videos, you will know that I said we need to see, and Cube, you can follow this yourself, right? I said we need to see a big breakdown bar past these levels first, then we're likely to see a follow through. But we need the confirmation candle first. We didn't get that. And then we had a big breakup. I will talk about that soon. So Laco, you can take your cookie and your bop and you can go home now, okay? Oh man. Love it, guys. Love it. One thing, guys, one thing that is so important for that on your journey to becoming successful is that the more you become successful, the more people are gonna, even the people that you truly love around you, are gonna start to frown upon you. Who do you think you are? You think you're better than us, blah, blah, blah. Or they're gonna, because now you're making them feel insignificant. And 90% of the time, the reason why someone's hating on you is because they're too gutless to go try themselves. So they're either got two things. One, they can go build their own building, or two, they can try to knock yours down. I remember that. So I see that time and time again, guys. And this is the side effect of doing well for yourself. Is that unfortunately when you start to look at life a lot differently, like I look at life differently with my health. I look at life differently in relationships now when it comes to women. I look at life differently when it comes to like the way the trading works. A lot of things that I see now differently that most people don't see. And the more that I start to climb the ranks, the more that I notice people do whatever they can to try to knock you down. So guys, be prepared for that. Be prepared for that, because what's going to happen is that the more successful you get when you do become successful. Of course, every single one of you can become amazing traders. Amazing trader simply means exactly what I'm talking about here. Find one simple system, only trade that, the end. You make money, right? It's all that other shit that we talked about before today: consistent, discipline, patient, right? But what's going to end up happening is that as soon as you become more and more successful in the markets, or more and more successful in your life, then you're going to start to notice a big shift, right? Because either two things are going to happen. One, you're going to naturally just drift away from those people that are around you because they're still thinking the same things, doing the same things, thinking the same way, and nothing ever changes in their life. Or two, you're going to start to sabotage your success because you want their love even more. And I've been on number two. I've been on number two where I'd make an absolute killing. I remember one year I did so well out of trading, from January through to about August, September, October, November, and October, right? So from January through to October, I made an absolute killing. I had one of my best successful years out there. Just did so well. And then I didn't talk about that with my partner at the time that I was living with at the time. But then when I did, she started to pull away from me. But because I wanted her love so much, I started linking that I'm doing well financially equals not getting her love. And so because I valued that so much, I unconsciously started taking shit trades, and I gave away 3/4 of that profit in 2 months. yeah, it was a bit of a kick in the nuts. I'm like, what? Why the fuck did I just do that for? You know, what? Why did I just do that for? And it was hard that year because I came to the end of the year thinking I was going to finish off with my most successful year ever, and then it was just an average year. I'm just like, damn, why did I do that for? And I didn't understand until about 12 months or so later on, maybe 1 or 2 years later on, looking back at the time, the reason why I did that. I'm like, because yeah, and the people around you and so on and so forth. So, and that's what causes a lot of people to yo-yo in success as well too. You do really, really well, but then you suddenly go back down. You do really, really well, and you come back down because of your environment and who you're hanging around with. And that's the hard thing, is because sometimes you have to stop hanging around people that you truly love and you truly care about. But the way of thinking is not really, it's not really going to help you get to where you want to go. And I'm telling you right now, guys, this is a true fact, is that the higher you climb in the ranks, the lonelier it actually gets out there. And that's the true facts about that, because there's not many people when you start to climb the ranks in success, there's not many people at that level. There really isn't. Most people, as you know, most people just talk about the same shit, do the same thing, nothing ever changes, and it's clearly that nothing ever changes in their life. So let's go and have a look at the actual markets, guys. Right now, let me share with you. Let me first share with you Bitcoin. Let me look at the cryptocurrencies for you guys. So I'm going to bring on investing.com because I haven't got my software up yet. I haven't got my software up yet on that I trade in the futures and forex market. So I don't have that up right now. So I'm just going to use investing.com to view at this. So the first thing, guys, what do we see here, right? First thing we see nice big up candle, right? Nice big breakout bar, nice up candle. We've been going sideways for quite some time. We've been slowly stepping up. Bit of a small bars on the short term, right? And then a very nice big breakout bar. Cool. Very nice big breakout bar. Now, remember, guys, one of the most important things is, okay, that's the short-term view there. We're looking at the last couple of months. We're looking at the short-term view there. Has the overall trend changed? We need to look at that, right? Because that's what you need. That's what you need to really focus on. Like, is this a complete trend changer for Bitcoin? Not what I think, what the facts are on the charts. I'm going to let the market tell me first that, yes, this is a trend changer, and not try to pick a bottom. I'd rather be 80% right and get that meaty, 80% of the up move instead of trying to pick the top or the bottom. So what we need to do is we need to follow through. It's like, okay, cool. This is what the daily chart's looking. All right, we have a nice pullback here, a nice move up, and a big breakout bar. Okay. Well, if I go back in time, let's see if that's happened in the past. Oh, look back here. All right. Oh, look what we have here, right? Big breakout bar. Oh, was that a trend change? Oh, John, you didn't pick the bottom. I did. Blah, 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 right? And then the market ran up, and then we came back down. Oh, look at these big up bars through here. All right, let me continue moving forward now. Oh, big up bar, right? We even had a higher low through here, didn't we? Had a higher low, and then we broken past previous highs. Remember, this is on the daily chart. Okay. Big run up. And then something got hammered. Okay. Interesting, right? Interesting. Now, why did that happen for? Why did we have a big run up and then we continue hammering down? Run up and hammering down. Well, if we go back and there was something, we start to do this here, right? So short term, we may be getting a bit of a rise out of this, right? Short term may be getting a bit of a rise out of this, just like we did back here. All right, let me bring this back here. Just like we did back here, right? Nice little higher low through here, right? Really nice little higher low through here. And then we got a nice breaking past previous highs. Yeah, we're probably going to get some sort of short-term move for a week or two on the upside. Is that going to change? Is that going to turn into something long-term? Well, let the market tell us that. So what do we do here? So once we see this here, what we need to do is we need to go and look at the weekly chart, right? So we look at the weekly chart here. And I'm going to bring you back to that time that I was looking at here. So that time that I was just sharing with you a minute ago, the weekly charts are so important because it gives you an overall trend of what's happening right now. The daily chart's going to give you some short-term moves, yeah, but it's that longer-term trend that the weekly chart that gives you a guidance on where things are. Have we overall changed that trend or not? Right? Just like we did back here. If I bring my charts back here for a minute, right? Just like we did back here. Look at this here. Low, higher low, higher low, another higher low, another higher low. Like this is the weekly chart, right? This is when the overall big move happened with Bitcoin, didn't it? Look at this here. Geez, what? Look at that. Isn't that nice? I'm going to take a screenshot of that. I wonder what. All right, I'm going to add a moving average. All right, guys, talk amongst yourselves. I just saw a beautiful setup. Whenever I see a beautiful setup, guys, I love taking screenshots because it just, yeah. Anyway, so let me bring on some indicators here. I want to see what the moving average was doing at this time. Look at that. 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 Low, nice little higher low. Okay, let me bring on some. I want to bring on a moving average. All right, so I'm going to bring on a 52. Why do I use 52 moving average? Because I like it. Because I like using the 52. Why not 50, John? I don't know. One of my earliest mentors used 52. Just, that's nice, isn't it? That's nice. And then we've got the 9 there. Okay, that's cool. And the 52. Wow, that's nice, isn't it? Look at that. All right, cool. So what I'm going to do now, again, just talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to do this live because I don't want to miss out on this screenshot that I want to take here. So I want to bring this up here. I'm going to put that there. I'm going to squeeze this up just a little bit more so I can see. All right, so that was the high point up there, wasn't it? Yep. So we had a low, nice little high low. Again, I want to take a screenshot of this. Because this is when Bitcoin was starting. You know what? I'm just going to do this here. Right there. I'm going to take this screenshot here. Probably move this over a little bit like that. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste this. I'm going to paste that there. This is what I do with all my screenshots. So this was the setup. This was the entry bar. All right, let's go back to that chart again. And this is what ended up happening. So I'm going to take another screenshot. This is what you should be also doing, guys. This is actually a setup here. Obviously, I like. Or it's not that I like it. It's because it meets the rules. Beautiful, beautiful. Let me go back to here. So that was before. That's what it looked like as of the entry bar. And this is what it looked like as of the confirmation. So let me move this over here. Just like that. All right, and we're going to type this in. Type in here, Bitcoin weekly. Bitcoin weekly. All right, so then I'm going to, okay, I'm going to save this to my folder. I type that Bitcoin weekly, 2000, what's that, May 2017. Cool. All right, now let's get back to the charts. All right, so what do we have here? Low, high, low, right? See, this one, this breakout here was so much more high probability. Why? Because it was with the trend. Higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. Another, even though it had a big pullback, right? It's still a higher low, isn't it? Higher low. Look at that big run. Another higher low. Even though it's a big run, right? Still another higher low. Don't we? We still have another high low, don't we? Oh, look, there's another high low. Even though we had a big pullback, still another higher low. So the trend hasn't changed, has it? Moving through here, moving through here. Let's bring this down to here, through here. What do we have over here? Still another higher low. And then that was the breaking of the low through there. And that's when what? That's when the overall started, that's when the trend started to change. Lower high, lower high, lower high. Sideways for a bit, sideways, sideways, breaking down, lower high, lower high, lower high, breakdown, and we had a nice move down from there. Right, so what we're seeing through here, bam. All right, so what we're seeing through here, right, is what? Remember those big up bars that I was sharing with you a while ago on the daily chart were through here, right? Through this bit through here, and through this bit through here. So if I'm looking at this weekly chart, well, guess what? This trend hasn't changed it, right? Because we're still going up, but this could be part of this point through here, or this could be another one of this point through here, right? We just don't know. So if I bring on the good old trannies, trannies, what the hell did I get that from? Trend lines, and I start to connect this down from there to there. Oh, isn't that a quinky dink? Isn't that just a quinky dink? Look where it actually stopped. Let's go to the daily chart now. Look where it stopped. And then actually totally rejected off this level through here. Is that a quinky dink or what? I think not. Because the weekly chart really does give you guidance, guys, on now, if we've got this level through here, right? If we start to break up, I don't need the 52 anymore. If we start to break up and we start to give what? We start to get higher lows again in the markets, that's when we'll have a high probability of the overall trend start to change. But this little up bar could be completely retraced, just like all these other lower highs, lower highs, lower highs in the market. This could be just some sort of lower high, and before you know it, we get slammed again. So for those people that think that this is the bottom in Bitcoin, not yet. Don't try and get it, because if you're getting in right now, what are you doing? You're still trying to pick the bottom. Let the market unfold for a little bit. Let the market move for a little bit. Let the market tell you the trend is starting to change. And when you do that, then you now have a high probability of waiting for a high low, letting the market tell you, okay, now we're starting to overall change that trend, because this could easily be a little fake out, get people long again, and before they know it, they dump the crap out of this thing. Oh, John, that's not going to happen. You don't understand. This time is different. Blah blah blah. They've been saying that ever since mid 2018. They've been saying that every single time. Wait for the market to tell you. Just like I shared with this video, right? It's not what I think. It's what the market was doing. As soon as it started making those higher highs and higher lows, we had a trend change. The problem with what I just said there, it requires two things. One, removing your fear of missing out, because you think that this thing's going to go vertical, and before you know it, it's going to be at 20,000 again, and I better get in now before everyone else. And two, requires patience, requires you not to click that button to get in right now. It requires you to wait to see, okay, are we actually starting to change this trend overall? Or is this some sort of short-term upward movement? Yes, we can get some short-term upward movement, but has the overall movement changed? Now, again, guys, if you're looking to hold on to something in more than a few weeks, then you need to be looking at that weekly chart to see how the overall trend has started to change. So for those people that are watching Bitcoin right now, no one knows where the bottom is and no one knows where the tops are. What we can do is we can start to add the probability in the markets, and we can wait to see what the market's going to do. And as you can see, right, look what happened here. The market did what? The market actually totally rejected at that point through there, and that's what's happening right now in this market. And that is not a coincidence, but at all, no way. So, is this going to be some sort of short? Is this going to be some sort of? Is this going to be a complete change in trend? Let the market tell you that, and then wait for that, because this could be some sort of upward move, like we saw through these bits through here, this bit through here, and this bit through here. But if the market continues to make major lower highs overall, the sellers are still in control until they're not. So please don't give your knickers in a knot and think that this is the bottom. It's all good. So that being said, Bitcoin's done for the day. Let's have a quick look at the markets right now. Dow Jones, S&P, pretty much a nothing day right now. The overall, we're still at the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ are still at these longer term resistance and support levels. Like if I bring up this chart here, you can see this is the NASDAQ long-term trend line, and we're still at the underline of this here. We still haven't broken above that. Now you can see, right, even on this weekly chart, we've gone up so much through here. So it's really, really interesting to see what's going on through here, because that's the NASDAQ, this is the Dow Jones, and this is the S&P 500. And the S&P 500 is pretty much similar to the NASDAQ, as in like we're at these major resistance levels through here. And are we likely to pause here and overall roll over? That's the question we need. That's the question we got to wait and see whether the market's going to start to do that or not. Moving on to silver and gold, pretty much a nothing day on the silver and gold market through there, and also pretty much a nothing day across. Pretty much nothing day with silver as well too. So really interesting to see what's happening with silver and gold through here. It'll be really pretty much nothing happening through here, is there? It's like, we got this lower low, lower high breakdown. I was expecting a bit more of a follow through than we got through right now, but we've actually been holding strong through here. So what I'm seeing here on the short term anyway, let me delete that. On the short term, we're getting something like this. That's what we're getting basically like on a bit of a short-term basis. It's more of a triangle pattern setup type thing. Something like that we're getting. So, but that's the short term, right, guys? Remember, that's the short term. This is the short-term movement. We could be getting some sort of short-term change in trend, or this may pause here and may continue up. Let's go back to that weekly chart. Look at that long-term weekly chart. Okay, cool. What do we have here on the long-term weekly chart? One, we obviously have these levels through here. Let me delete that. Let me screw this up through here. We have this long-term trend coming down through here. We still have this longer-term trend coming up through here somewhere. And we're still stuck at this overall triangle pattern here. So this is the short term is in a bit of an indecision right now. It looks like it may be trying to roll over, but it's still holding there. But the longer term view, by looking at this, is what? Let me delete that. You can see here that this longer term view, this could be some sort of higher low through here. Let me open up this chart right up here. This could be some sort of higher low through here. And then if we hold here overall on this weekly chart and we break up and out, then we could start to see quite a nice move on this chart or on gold. And then that's when we could see a big move up. That's short term. We're starting to roll over. We haven't broken past the previous low, so it's still in that indecision. So that's what we're getting right now on the silver there. Let's go have a look at the SIL chart. Okay, we'll look at the weekly chart here. The SIL chart is we're still getting these lower highs through here. So it'll be really interesting to see whether we do start to break back above these levels through here and we start to create a move up, or we just continue down. Again, that's still indecision through there. The silver juniors, again, still creating this lower high type of action through here, as you can see. And as you can see, right, the line that I just drew through there, from that point there to that point there, you can see how it actually rejected off that recently, and now we're heading back down. We do have a lot of support and resistance going on through this $10 level here. So do we actually start to continue? Do we continue down from here? This is the short term, obviously. Do we continue down from here? Or do we start to hold through here and we break up? The key for me is that we start to break once we start to get back above this $10 level, as you can see on this other short-term chart here. This $10 level here for me is the key. Once we start getting it back above there, then this whole long-term, this whole move through here is likely to be some sort of end of trend indicator, an end of trend type move. And then we're likely to see a move up from there. Again, guys, this is the most important part to trading, right? Is flowing with the markets. The market may be doing something today, and then for the next couple of days it does something, but then you need to keep an eye on that longer term chart as well too, and just keep an eye on that, you know. And if the market looks like it may want to start to change, you need to be flexible with the markets. So important. Same for the GDXJ, right? We're getting some sort of short term down move. We still haven't broken past previous lows here, so we're still in slightly sellers in control, but we haven't broken past previous lows, so we're not getting that sellers in control yet. Just a bit of sideways movement. And this GDX chart, which is really interesting, look at this GDX chart. Just a very big squeezing up in, this is the weekly chart here, squeezing up into the overall triangle pattern through here. Again, short term, we're starting to get a bit of sellers in control with that bear flag, slight lower highs. But the longer term chart, that's what we're seeing through here. Now, what does all this mean? This simply means that the weekly chart is king, right? Short term, there's a lot of indecisions right now. Okay, we're getting double tops. We're getting this could be some sort of high low through here. There's a lot of indecision short term, but then the big picture says that if we start to break above 24 on GDX, that could be the start of a big move. That could be start of another move to come, and then a minimum target will be back up this resistance level up through here. If we can start to see a move back above that. And the same for the GDXJ as well too, right? That's the same for what we can see here. The GDXJ is quite interesting because you can see how that it actually already broke down and then broke up. So this whole point through here on this GDXJ chart. This whole point through is likely to be some sort of more like an end of trend type of indicator. We're getting a short-term pullback right now, like we're getting on that chart through here, right? We're getting some sort of short-term pullback on that daily chart through here. Again, daily chart's a short-term thing. It could last a few days, could last a few weeks, the short-term moves. But then when we're looking at this weekly chart, the forest from the tree, because it's giving us a bit of a different story, we can start to see how this up here actually made a slight higher high compared to this through here. So what does that mean? This means that this could be some sort of a holding pattern through here soon, and then if it does start to break up, then this could be some sort of this. If we start to break up back above previous highs, which was basically these levels through here, around about the 35. If we start to hold, if we hold here over the next few weeks, and then we start to break up, that's going to be a hold through there, and then we're likely to start breaking back up. And we're not likely to start doing anything. I don't know what's going to happen, but if we do start to break above the 35 level again here, it's going to be some sort of higher low, breaking past the previous highs, and then we could start to see. Then I would see I'd probably have a first target of that 50 level up there on the GDX. But you want to start to see this 35 level broken first. Once we get that, then that could be the start of a move up. Now, move up simply means that it could go straight up or it could step up. So as you can see, right, guys, it's even though we get these, and a lot of my analysis is done on the short term, right, which is the daily chart. We're getting a lower low, getting a lower high. We could be getting some sort of change in trend. it's really, really, really important to keep an eye on that weekly chart through there. Really, really important to keep an eye on that weekly chart, because you don't want to be trying to fight that market. Most people don't understand that. And just like I shared with Bitcoin, right, we may get some short-term moves, but then if that longer-term chart hasn't changed yet or changed trend yet, then it's really, really, really important to not fight that. And that's what a lot of people don't understand, right? It's like, oh, but John, you said that you're very bearish right now on GXJ. Yeah, that was today or yesterday or whatever, right? A few days from now, and then suddenly something else can change, right? That's when you need to flow with the market, guys. If you're bearish today on the daily, because you're looking at the daily chart, well, you can't stay bearish forever, right? You need to flow with the markets because the market goes through trend. And right now, we're getting a short-term drop down through here, but we haven't broken past previous lows, so we don't really have. It's really no one in control right now, because there's a lot of indecision through the metals. So just give me a sec, guys. Alrighty, guys. Alrighty. So let me go through some questions. If you guys have any questions at all. But the main part I want to share with you guys, if you're taking your analysis based on the daily chart alone, then as you see that we need to obviously you need to do that. But expect that to be that could be short-lived. Right? That could be short-lived. The big that could be short-lived. But the bigger picture, the bigger story is going to be telling you when the overall trend is starting to change, which is that weekly chart. So, let me get straight into some questions now, guys. If you guys have any questions at all, then put them in the chat box below. Chris, yes, you did. Oh yeah, Chris. I haven't gotten to that. I just saw. Yeah, I'll check that email a bit later on. Spinning top on the S&P daily chart, going to roll over like a fat pig is. Oh, really? Oh. Ooh. 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 Really? Okay. What about this spinning top over here? What about this spinning top? What about this spinning top? What about all these little spinning tops? Little pullback, but what about this spinning top through here? Just went sideways. John, I have a small request. Can you give us an example of an example setup? Walk us through it. Example, if you see higher high, high, low on the daily, and you see a breakout based on the daily consolidation, is that where you enter? Then also, where do you exit? Maybe give an example on one stock. John, would you then consider yourself a breakout swing trader? Okay. Paleo, no, I'm not going to give you my complete full trading system because that's going to totally disrespect my private clients, and I'm not going to do that. I've given you, if you've been watching me for quite some, Paleo, you get sort of an idea. Even in today's video, even in today's session, you get an idea of what I look for in a good setup. All right. So no, I'm not going to walk you through step by step what I look for. That's just going to be, no, I'm not doing that. But I've given you a lot of clues to what I look for in a perfect setup. But what I show you is probably only maybe 30% of what goes into that's the small finer details of all that. So no, I can't do that, my man. You want to do that, you need to invest, period. And the only reason why I say that is because you guys don't realize I've invested tens of thousands of dollars with my personal mentor who taught me this system. And I still to this day, I spend a lot of money on him. So if you're not willing to do that, then I've been sharing a lot of clues with you guys, really have. You've been watching my sessions for the last week or so. Even today, you get a lot of clues on that. Yeah. I learned flat top and flat bottom triangles from Hector Devil a while back. Cool. Just because you have a flat top or flat bottom doesn't mean it's going to be a change in trend. It might have a little pullback against the trend. But this is this. So atom making, you went from spinning top to flat tops. It's definitely not a flat top here. Flat top was more like back here in before March. Could you look at oil? Yeah, oil is just continuing to rise. So we're getting that short term. We're getting this short term rise. This weekly chart is definitely rising up quite nicely as well. So it's definitely looking very, very strong through here. Hasn't got any signs of changing trend or anything like that. Doesn't mean it's going to continue up from here, but yeah, really, really, really important. So yeah. Hello, John. There is gold miners in Australia called stock symbol RNKLF. Think it's RNC on the Canadian market. Is there a buzz down there? It's the world's largest gold find. Jerome? No, I've never heard about that actually. I wouldn't say if there is a buzz about it, if there's a lot of things happening around it, I haven't heard about it. I haven't heard anything from it yet. And I don't really watch a lot of news or read a lot of media myself, Jerome. Yeah. Because my job is just to continue focusing on the trading plan and the trading setup that I know that works, and then go from there, which is really, really, really simple. And that's what it all comes back down to. Like we're looking at oil right now, guys, looking at that sort of stuff. And I give my daily analysis through here. But I think what a lot of people do is they're like, John, tell me what's going to happen next. Tell me what's going to happen tomorrow and the next day and the next day. And where's it going to be a week from now? No one knows that. No one knows that at all. The best thing you can do is just to find your one simple setup, guys. Really, really simple. Find your one simple setup and then go from there. So, all right, guys. Well, that's it for me today. Have an amazing day. The main point I want to drive home, guys, is that if you are not being consistent at trading the setup, don't think you're going to start to make consistent profits from the markets. Talk to you soon, guys.